Hello and welcome to the AmAZiNG DiGitaL CiRcuS! No, just kidding, it's my YouTube channel. Hi, I'm Eva, and today we are going to be discussing the AmAZiNG DiGitaL CiRcuS and its cast and my theories on whether or not they will be able to escape the AmAZiNG DiGitaL CiRcuS. Lots of spoiler alerts. I will be discussing past episodes, what I think is going to happen in the end episode. I hope y'all enjoy the art, or just listening to me rant unedited. I don't really feel like editing, but you know, if my voice and my pauses and my ums are annoying, I will edit future videos, just, you know, let me know. So, I don't think they will be able to escape the AmAZiNG DiGitaL CiRcuS. If that's all you wanted to hear, you can leave now. But I can explain why, because I think that's more interesting than just, they won't be able to escape. I think they were never trapped in the first place. Okay, well, they are, but their original selves aren't. I think that the characters that we have been watching in all these episodes are not the originals of their minds. I think that their minds were basically copy and pasted into the AmAZiNG DiGitaL CiRcuS, meaning that their actual selves are completely oblivious to what happened and are probably went back to their lives. And Pomni probably is still an accountant. What was her job? She was an accountant, right? I don't know. And Zubul still works the bar, and maybe she eventually left her mark on the world. Um, but I don't think that they can escape the AmAZiNG DiGitaL CiRcuS, and I don't know if Gooseworks is going to actually reveal that, or the reason they can't leave, or if they're just going to come to the conclusion that they can't leave, or if they're all going to be deleted because of deleting Kane and the whole world falling apart. But here is my reasoning for why I don't think they can escape. My biggest reasoning is that if this was actual their actual brain and soul and not a copy and paste situation, their bodies would be dead. Or at the very least, very, very close to death. Not including Kinger. I think Kinger would be dead. Physically. In fact, he might actually be dead physically in the real world. It's unclear, I'm pretty sure, how long the company has been closed, and it's been unclear about how much time passed between the company closing and Kane's creation, and Scratch and Kinger and Queenie and the others entering the AmAZiNG DiGitaL CiRcuS, and then later on the building being abandoned and Pomni and Jax and Ragtha and Zubul. Are there multiple headsets? I kind of have to either assume there are, or like, I mean, it's not really a coincidence because they're technically all random people who found either the same VR headset or multiple VR headsets. But if there are multiple, that implies that there is like a kind of cloud or a on the internet kind of space where they exist now, rather than on a single computer, which I think makes a little bit more sense power wise, because if they were on a single computer, then what's powering that computer? Does that computer have its own generator or something? Um that's a whole other issue. But basically the time frame between Kinger and Scratch, and then Scratch and Queenie and all of them abstracting, leaving Kinger, and then Ragatha, the time frame implied looks more like years rather than days. If it were days, then maybe Kinger's body would be able to survive that, but the implication is that it was not days, that was in fact years. So chances of his actual physical body surviving that are pretty slim. Sorry, I just basically repeated myself a whole bunch of times. So basically, I don't think that they are the originals of their mind. I think they are copy and pasted into the AmAZiNg DiGital CiRcuS. And why do I think that their bodies, like, what if maybe their bodies are attached and they just die and they're stuck in the AmAZiNg DiGital CiRcuS? That could be it. And my theory that they're stuck in the AmAZiNg DiGital CiRcuS would still work. But I don't think that that would work because if, if authorities found a whole bunch of dead bodies lying around a computer, I think they would disconnect the computer and investigate it and all of the surroundings. So the amount of dead bodies that would pile up would also ward off Pomni from putting on the headset if she saw a skeleton attached to the headset. Which it would probably have to be, because it's not like Kinger just took it off after he got put in. Though, the implication is that there are multiple VR headsets, now that I think about it, because of Scratch and Queenie and Kinger. They all entered basically at the same time. Which either means that, they're the developers, so they know it's just a copy of their minds, and they took turns and they put on the headset and it's just a copy of their mind now in the AmAZiNg DiGital CiRcuS, and somehow doing that erase the memory of the fact that they are just copies and they can't escape. Or all of the developers had a VR headset, and I'm correct in saying that they were uploaded to a cloud, and that is where they are now. And that would allow for there to be multiple headsets for our cast to find. But honestly, that's irrelevant. I still don't think that it is the actual original mind. I think it's a copy of the original mind in the AmAZiNg DiGital CiRcuS, because once again, dead bodies tend to lead to investigations that tend to lead to things either getting destroyed or locked up. So yeah, basically that's my reasoning for why I don't think they're going to escape the AmAZiNg DiGital CiRcuS. I don't really know how the characters are going to react to that information. I think Jax will have another mental breakdown, probably. Or maybe he will finally just accept it. I doubt Pomni will accept it. Maybe Pomni will abstract. Probably not. I don't think any of the characters are really going to abstract. They might all die digitally. Like, their digital copies of their brains might die because of what happened with Kane and the whole circus kind of falling apart now. Or maybe there's the whole accepting their fate, and now they are kind of the gods of their own circus. They are the ringmaster now because of Kane's disappearance, or they find a way to reboot him. There's so many different options for what could be possible. But yeah, so have extra time now. I guess I will talk about some of the characters and what I like about them. Zooble is probably my least favorite character. I do like her character. I think she's well written. I think the body dysmorphia or whatever kind of her mental thing is supposed to represent is very interesting and kind of like I kind of get it. Like, there's things about myself that I don't like, and I wish could be different or better. And I think some people have that to an even extremer extent. The character I relate most to, though, would probably be Gangle. Um, with the whole, happiness is just a fragile thing, and it's always been really fragile for me, and I feel like my base emotion is sort of melancholy. To be melancholy. I've stopped calling myself a sad person. I'm just melancholy. I'm kind of meh. Um, of course I can be very happy. Give me a gun and of course I'll be very happy. uh Machine gun. Um so in that way I kind of relate to Gangle. I don't know, uh I think all of the characters kind of represent something. Um And I don't know if that was intentional or if just in writing them they became these stereotypes or these good representations of uh, these mental struggles. But honestly, I think it's interesting because the AmAZiNg DiGital CiRcuS seems to create these bodies for these characters around their discomfort, around their struggles, even. And so, in that way, the AmAZiNg DiGital CiRcuS is almost a hell for these characters, if not by the games, if only by like the bodies that they're forced to be in. Which, is interesting. Because, like, you can't really choose in real life what you're born with. That's kind of what God decides for you. And I don't know if there was supposed to be, by the original game developers of the AmAZiNg DiGital CiRcuS, a way to customize your body. Maybe they did. Maybe they customized it and then they, like, forgot that they did, kind of thing. But I just think it's interesting that, Ragatha only has one actual eye. And then we see in her little nightmare her mother, like, stabbing her eye. Very horrific. Um, but I don't know, just kind of like, I wonder if that actually reflects her real self. And I wonder if this whole time, if she's only been able to see kind of how she could see in real life beforehand with one eye. Like, that affects your depth perception, I'm pretty sure. So I wonder if her vision, like if we ever saw a point of view from her, if it would look different. Um, and I wonder if maybe part of the whole uh, digital circus, if their minds being an imprint affects how their digital bodies are created, because the computer doesn't know how to really make anything other than what their minds can already believe, like suspense of belief kind of thing. Suspending your belief, if is like Ragtha couldn't have two eyes in the AmAZiNg DiGital CiRcuS because she's only known having one eye for so long that she wouldn't be able to really believe having two eyes, which is crazy to say because she's a Raggedy Ann doll. But I mean more in the, like, her senses. So the game has to do something that she would be familiar with sense-wise. And maybe the same is for Jax and for Pomni. And there's just things that we don't know about that yet. Like maybe Jax always sees things kind of staticky. I know with anxiety that happens a lot for me, kind of seeing things staticky, especially when I'm really stressed. But yeah, anyway, that was lots of theories, lots of fun things. Let me know in the comments what you think. What do you think of my theory about them just being copy and pasted of their original minds? And that there is no escape from the AmAZiNg DiGital CiRcuS! Uh, anyway, thank you for watching. Please subscribe, and, let me know, who's your favorite character? Do you think they'll escape? Is there escape? Uh, and, gonna miss Kane, the only AI I will actually ever miss. Alright, anyway, y'all have a good day. God bless y'all. Thank you for watching. Uh, Glitch, hire me. I have a whole TV series planned. No joke. Alright, bye!